What we have found is that many minority groups who are suffering from a lack of social, economic high standing, frankly, the country has given up on them. These folks are considered to be dependent. They're considered to be dead-ended. And there was a growing acceptance that that's just the fate of people, including Pacific Americans, and we'll just have to warehouse them and leave them alone. So our thinking was, this is not right. But we had to step forward as a people. And what we said to ourselves is that if Pacific Americans don't care about Pacific Americans, why should anybody else?
As part of the Pacific American Foundation, we were beginning to see data from Hawaii. This was the only place that you had any kind of data that showed where we were as far as education, imprisonment. Like we said, you know, everything that you're supposed to be good at, we were at the bottom. Everything that we're supposed to be at the bottom, we were at the top. And that's what the statistics was showing us, and we decided that we needed to try to change.
We looked at some international ratings about the world's greatest servant leaders. And what we found was Bernice Pauahi Bishop is internationally recognized among the top 5 servant leaders in the history of the world. So that was sort of the impetus.
We had asked LEAP, the Asian Leadership Program, and we had set up a meeting down in UCLA in 1996. And at that presentation, Judge Tami Kaulukukui pointed out that there's a perception that we Pacific Islanders were not good leaders. And he pointed out that our history was just the opposite. We had fantastic leaders. King Kamehameha I, the third who set up and got a recognized nation.
And the original intent was really preparing future leaders from the Pacific Islands to be integrated and successfully integrated in the corporate world. But then me and Judge Kahulukukui, after reviewing what is being proposed, we felt something was missing. We felt there should be some considerable time in that whole curriculum be allocated for culture.
Ku'i ke kalo, ku'i mai. Ku'i ke kalo, ku'i mai.
Leadership in itself, without a culture, has no meaning to it, no context. But culture in itself is what defines an organization, whatever form or shape that organization may eventually turn out to be.
Many years I've been involved with Hawaiian groups, and I've never been happy with them because they all got their different agendas. And finally there was one that came along that I thought could accomplish the things that we are doing now.
And what are those goals?
The goals of being servant leader and mentoring of our communities and people.
The Napali acronym is for the National Pacific American Leadership Institute.
The mission of Napali is to provide a servant leadership course for Pacific Americans and those others who are interested in the Pacific American culture.
Well, of course, being Hawaiian, I'm looking at the Hawaiians, but also our cousins, all the Pacific Islanders, the Samoans, the Tongans, the Tahitians. We also have extended ourselves to the Alaskans and the Filipinos and Guam, the Chamorros. This class of 14, we have one Marshallese from Arkansas.
Many of the speakers are part of the program from the very get-go.
So we're gonna now chant that together. So I'll say it one time and then you guys can follow me. Oha ke ana kupu mai ke ahie. Oha ke ana kupu mai ke ahie.
So they have a tremendous motivation to do and contribute. And they themselves find other speakers. The fellows themselves, as they get exposed to people around the country, they find speakers and they tell Auntie Heather about those. Auntie Heather is another good person who finds leaders. She'll go around and see people and she'll convince them that this is your role, this is something that you need to do.
Grab over, set them up. Set yourself up for success. If you kapulu, if you messy, not going to happen.
Well, we have so many speakers. We have so many kupuna from the community and from out of state. And fellows tend to gravitate to those individuals who mentor them.
And we didn't tell him how to do it. We just knew that he did mentoring on the North Shore. And he blew us away by using a upena, which is a net, a Hawaiian net. And using a Hawaiian throw net, he was able to convey to the fellows in his own unique way what the network of mentoring does and why you do this and how you mend holes in a net.
Every single knot that you see is connected to, if you look closely, is connected to 4 other knots. That is connected to much, much more. That is connected to much, much more. This is the network, guys.
And how that relates to mending problems in your personal character.
They have to find their mentor, and we provide that opportunity for them to find a mentor.
Well, you know, I grew up in New Zealand, and the Maoris are good storytellers, right? And I was not Maori, but I knew the Maori people. I could see the parallels. And I started to tell the Tongan stories. Turns out that I do very well in storytelling. People love stories, and they know that these stories are recyclable, and they draw wisdom from it. I mean, the stories that we live, the stories that we give our children, that we experience in our lives. Because I tell stories, my kids are beginning to be storytellers. They didn't realize they were absorbing. This is part of their culture, right? So now I have sons and daughters, and they have children who become storytellers. Yeah, and especially now that they're married into Hawaiian families, and they have come with their richness, their hula dancers and orators, and it blends.
The word I want to use, they leave with being inspired, and when I see what they're doing today, I'm inspired.
At the end of this group, we'll have about 297 fellows. A lot of them have been very active now. All these people will be helping building their communities. We have people getting into legislatures. We have a lot of our fellows now involved in the community colleges, becoming recruiters, teachers, you know, and of course we have down in Salt Lake City, we have one of our fellows has started the Mana Academy with 500 students, basically Pacific Islanders. So I'm hoping this will continue over the next 5-10 years.
Why is it so important to me? Kindness matters. And I believe there's a Chinese proverb, and I hope I don't misstate it, but I feel that when someone receives something and benefits from it, you have a moral obligation to give back.